Hmm. That's interesting. What a vibe. Just sitting here thinking about how, and I'm pretty much talking to myself right now because nobody is tuning in just yet. But for those that may come across this video, I go by the name of BonaFideQueenBri. And I was just thinking that, just thinking of the sound of nature and the sound of the birds and how cute that sound. The sound of nature and the birds and the way that they talk and all of that good stuff, and just thinking like, wow, the sound of birds sound better than leaders of this so-called free world who has a bird brain. How about that? How about that? The sound of the birds is better than the sound of the leaders of the so-called free world who has a damn bird brain. Kind of like that. It's kind of like that kind of that saying when you think about somebody and you say, they look better going than they do coming. There are some people in this world that people glamorize, they glorify, they worship, and they absolutely love these people. And the people are demonic, absolutely demonic, look better going than they do coming. And I just can't help but wonder how some people actually, they don't mind being swindled and hoodwinked by these very individuals that they call their leaders, and something of some type of importance and significance. Is crazy to me. Out of order. The world is out of order, and these people are out of order, and so are their leaders. Hmm. So I was expressing myself not too long ago. Welcome, Rigoberto Barbosa, Barbosa, and Bozina Krigowska. Hello, folks. My name, if you don't know who I am, I go by the name of Bonafide Queen Bri. You could check out my page. I started my page a while ago, really focused on sharing my artistic side in music and things of such. I like to write hip hop, and I like to sing. I like to act like I know how to sing. I like music now. I've created more content about topics that I am interested in, which is like, um, whew, let me take a breath because it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Thank you, Bozina. I appreciate the sub. And LOL 67 is funny. 67 is funny. Here's my baby. 67. Why does the kids do that? 67. What does that mean? It's cute though. It's better than something that's like absolutely derogatory, right? Or inappropriate. So long as it's nothing that's derogatory or inappropriate, I'll rock with it. I'll vibe with it. Um, but yeah, I shared a video not too long ago, and it was talking about, I had this little rant because, the blatant disrespect and, the inconsideration for humanity, especially, coming from a woman um, who has a love for good people, right? It's all over the media, and it's all over, everything, where they're saying that Ghana wrote a proposal, and they said there should be reparations for recognizing that the transatlantic slave trade was the gravest, atrocious crime committed against humanity. Now, whether people want to talk about what was the most atrocious of crimes that were committed, I feel as though it should be recognized, and, I feel like it should be acknowledged. So the data shows that there was 100 and something countries who said, yeah, we think that, there should be reparations for this, and we do acknowledge that it was absolutely wrong. Then there was approximately like 57 countries who was neutral about it, and they didn't vote one way or another. But what really threw me off is that the very country in which I live in the United States. I am a natural born citizen. My ancestors are from this land. And, it's very disgusting to a person like me, very disgusting to my spirit, to know that there are people who are demonic, and they don't mind, telling the world and telling the world that they are demonic. They don't mind bragging about the atrocious things that their ancestors have done to, Black, Indigenous, or African people. They don't mind bragging about it. They don't mind saying, hey, yeah, our ancestors did that, we did this, and we really don't care. That's a problem for me. And I think that, it says a lot about humanity. And then it makes me as a woman question, how far have we actually come as, as a race, a human race and species? How far have we come? And if we have not come very far, right, and we still have people in this nation who are still racist and still refuses to atone or to admit where they're wrong, then is it safe to say that maybe it's time to dismantle the power structure? Is it safe to say that maybe it's time that we go ahead and do away with the demons, because everything that they've done, everything that they are doing, and that they continue to do, and that they continue to present, is not creating unity, but continuing to create a divide? I think that was a little bit too deep. Or maybe the people that was watching was racist, right? One way or another, I want to get my message off of my chest. Jesus Christ loves you. He died at the cross to pay the price for your sins, and Rosa again in the third day. Repent of your sins and turn to him before it's too late. Mr. White Rice, I want to share something with you. So as far as repenting to Jesus Christ, I don't repent to Jesus Christ. I acknowledge where I'm wrong in my own world, and doing a self-check-in with myself and introspecting within myself. And there's one thing to commune with spirit and to communicate with my ancestors, and then of course the deities that look like me. When you say Jesus Christ, are you talking about the Jesus Christ who we see in modern day churches today? We're not on the same. We're not on. We don't resonate. I'm not resonating with that. I don't resonate with that. So, Bubba Fat Ass, is that your name? Is your name Bubba Fat Ass? So, Bubba Fat Ass, who are you talking to? Are you talking to me, or are you talking to somebody else? Because people are real. They real. They real big bad, and they real big mad, but only online, only on the internet spaces. That's it. That's about the gist of it. You know, they're kind of just like their daddy, the devil, and the people who, you know, had this beautiful country that my ancestors built. You know, this beautiful country that you guys swear belonged to a certain type of people, but really it belongs to, you know, some of my ancestors. Bubba fat ass, who are you talking to? Atone for your sins before it's too late. People are too indoctrinated, but we don't share the same type of ideology and mindset. I want to offer that to you, so you know you can save your, you can say, yeah, you can keep that to yourself. And then you could just see who really, who the devils are because of the things that they reply with. And then the people who say nothing, or they're very neutral about it. I don't care one way or another. Yeah, because you're a devil for real. Or you're possibly, maybe you're a coward. The same people who, they can't say that what happened to slaves or the atrocities that happen against indigenous people or black people or African people, they can't admit that it's wrong because they're still reaping the benefits of what took place already, right? Oh, that's a little bit too deep. People don't want to talk about that. But if it's benefiting them, they're not gonna say anything. They're gonna keep it on the hush. They're gonna be hush about it, of course, because they're reaping the benefits of these things that has happened all this time ago. And then there's people like Bubba Fat Ass who says negative things, who probably won't bust a grape in a fruit fight if he or she was standing on one. He, she, whether Bubba Fat Ass was talking to me or not, you know, just being honest. Because people, they talk a lot. Some of the people with the bird brains, but they don't have the music of nature and of a bird, the beauty of the song of a bird, right? Just the bird brains. They speak so much and they speak so loosely with a tongue, and they speak because they have a tongue, but they should not say anything at all. There's some people who have mouths that should not open their mouths. There's certain people who have certain positions of power that should not be in these positions. They are divisive. They're oxymoronic. They're manipulative, and they create nothing but chaos and confusion. And they want to, of course, it's all intentional. They want to provoke anger. They want to provoke confusion. They want to provoke division. But as I was saying, when I uploaded my rant video, continuing my rant, just in a little bit more peaceful way, when I was talking about the people, when I said we're not addressing or talking about the people who actually are, who stands in solidarity with Black indigenous people. We're not talking about people who are not Black or indigenous who actually stand in solidarity with us. But there are seeds or zygotes who should not have sprouted, zygotes who should not have grown to its potential, right? Who exist on this planet, who are seeds of Satan himself or of the devil himself. And yeah, I'm offended by it. And thus, this is the reason why I am on this video right now. So Bubba Fat Ass is a coward for real. But it's really nothing new to me because I'm used to dealing with cowards. They are the type of people that they throw the rock and hide their hand, but then when you check them, they go and tuck their tail like a female dog. So let's talk about it, right? I don't have to actively engage in warfare, especially not with people who fight behind screens. But I can definitely, in my bona fide nature, as a bona fide indigenous queen, turn on my device and get off what I want to get off and say what I have to say. So, I'm kind of ranting a little bit and expressing myself. Um, I want to welcome those who are watching that, are, you know, spiritual individuals, who are godly individuals. I don't really care to commune or communicate or talk to people who are demonic, because they're just like their father, the devil, because they're just like the leaders of this of this system, right? Because we're talking about the UN, and then we're talking about the US, and then we're talking about Argentina, and then we're talking about Israel. They're all blatantly disrespectful and inconsiderate, right? They're all demonic in my eyes, right? Not individuals that I literally want to patronize. When a person doesn't want to atone for their wrongs and their sins, when they don't want to rectify the situation or make it right, what do? They keep sweeping it under the rug, or they keep denying it because they don't want to be held accountable. Thus, the behavior does not have to be changed. Their ways of life doesn't have to be changed. They continue to reproduce themselves. They continue to replicate themselves in offspring that have their ways and their likeness. And yes, I have a problem with it. These same individuals who want to make it seem like people like me are inferior to them, and the devil is a lie. A lion 6 stacks of shit and his feet isn't made to him. Excuse me, come again? This might be a little bit too deep. This might be a little bit too powerful for some people. I said what I said and I meant it. What happened to Bubba Fat Ass? I can't believe I'm even giving it energy. What's going on, Earl Patterson? Earl Patterson. I like your profile pic. What's up, Conrad Rico? All day. So yeah, it's all spiritual, and we know that, right, Conrad? And then it is very physical. We know it's on so many different levels, right? This battle, this warfare, that's already won, right? In the name of the Most High, it's already won. But while the enemy is constantly being handled and being worked on, there's still a battle, right? Because they say, like, before it gets better, it gets worse. So we're headed in the right direction, and it's going to get better. But it's like every time they're trying to show us, they want to put something in front of us time and time again to say, hey, I want you to believe this illusion that we actually have this power. It's like, no, you don't. Like, I don't even know why these devils even try. I said that in one of my songs. I was like, actually one of these songs that I'm writing right now, I said, I said something like zombie sleepers, and I said sleepers in zombie mode, they not alive, manipulation known 1,000, don't know why they even try. I said something like that. And of course I was talking about, the devil, nasty, dirty, filthy, trifling ass, So this whole, the headlines and the talks about, the U.S., it's not even really surprising. I'm pretty sure you can say the same. It's not really surprising that they would literally vote against Ghana, saying, hey, this was the most gravest, most atrocious crime that was committed against humanity. And then some people may argue, well, this happened or this happened. There was these genocides and all these bad things happened, but we're talking about reparations. We're talking about acknowledgement, and then the healing to move forward, right? Because we're such a resilient people, such a strong people, that even without their acknowledgement, we still move forward, and we still bounce back, and we still bubble, and we still thrive even without, you know, them saying, hey, we acknowledge that we did this, that we're sorry or whatever. That's what big steppers for God. And that's what stand-up men and women, kings, queens, gods and goddesses, you know, the people who are literally the people who created this human race, right? That's what they do. That's what we do. So they continue to try to destroy something that is divine, right? Continuing to try to manipulate and provoke and try to destroy something that is divine and natural. And I know it really should make the enemy and make the devil mad to know that you can't destroy what God created. And then on top of that, you want to continue to brag about the things that you have done when you are not of the nature that we are. And it's just like you're trying to do your last ditch efforts to try to create an illusion of some type of power and superiority. And like I said before, I'm gonna say it again, the devil is a dirty, nasty, filthy lie, right? Because who is he fooling? Some of these people in the institutions, right? Fooling himself, trying to keep up a narrative and an illusion. That's what devils do. They try to continue to keep up narratives and illusions in their sorry psychosis, their untreated psychosis, and their untreated mental illness, right? That's what the devil does. It is an oxymoron, and what it likes to do is to create confusion and manipulation, and it tries to point the attention on someone else and not actually, you know, to take accountability for themselves and where they are wrong at. And then to control and handle and hypnotize and program and to brainwash people who are not mentally strong up top. I know what time it is. So what I was going to say in the other video is, like, when it comes to, you know, our communities, I just feel that we should continue doing what we're doing because we're a very strong people. You know, we're warriors by nature, but we're like gentle giants. Not to be compared to this beast or this enemy, right? But since they want to compare, and since they want to try to keep up, you know, this certain type of narrative, you know, it's like if you compare the indigenous black folks or the African to this beast and the things that they have done that we see in history, everything that they touch, they destroy. You know, Pac said that everything's corrupted once man touch it, but really he should have said everything's corrupted once the beast touch it, because we know that. It's like you can't build something and sustain something to save your life. Literally destroying the whole planet right in front of our eyes. Right? So yeah, my spirit is still in a certain type of way. My energy is still in a certain type of way, and I'm allowing for it because I've been peaceful and I'm still peaceful, you know? But sometimes I feel as though the devil needs to be confronted because I'm just one of those people. You know what I mean? Proudly. Zakaria Amin, that's a pretty name. What's going on, folks? So I go by the name of BonaFideQueenBri. You can call me BonaFideQueenBri. You can call me Queen Bri. I'm cool with both. And I'm just having a time in a park, addressing the devil and communing and, you know, aligning and resonating with those that align and resonate with what I have going on, because it's certain things that, you know, we don't have to address everything. And like a soldier or wise people would say, we choose our battles wisely. So we pick our battles wisely, meaning what I'm trying to say is I don't have to address everything and I don't need to talk about every single thing. But I think that it's a big deal. And I think that it's a big or large enough headline that everybody should talk about the blatant disrespect and the blatant carelessness, right? that, you know, the United States and the United States, Israel, and Argentina has blatantly shown. They have blatantly shown us that they don't care. What do y'all think about that? I would love to hear y'all thoughts about this, because I know I'm not the only one that feel a way. I know I'm not the only one that has, you know, some fire within me right now. Like, you know, I know I'm not the only one that want to put on the gloves. Man, I would love to hear y'all thoughts, because, you know, people are out of order and they're out of control, and the blatant disrespect and the, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like, we're not surprised. We're not surprised that these same devils would show us their face and continue to show their face and say, yeah, we feel this way. Yeah, we said that and we stand on that. Y'all don't get it? What you gonna do about it? Right? And then what do I say? It's okay for me to feel a certain type of way because I am a woman. I am human. I have feelings. I have a heart. I have a black mother. I have a black father. I have black ancestors, black grandparents, cousins. I have black children. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I feel a way about it. I deeply love black people. And then I say, you know, I give myself much grace and compassion. And I say, okay, Queen Bri, well, I can feel what I feel, but it does not come to my surprise, because these same people that I am addressing and that I am talking about, we are not of the same nature. They are devils for real. They are absolutely devils for real. So when the devil continues to show his little nasty, filthy, dirty self, it's like, yeah, I see you. I see you. You keep your ass over there. I'm gonna keep my kids away from you. What the sister say? She said, hide your wife, hide your kids. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know, I feel as though black folks need to continue doing what we have been doing, you know, as far as organizing and doing things and keeping certain things to ourselves and keeping certain sensitive, important information off the internet, and continue to support one another and to continue to uplift and build with one another without, you know, sharing so much with this demonic enemy. And, you know, as I was saying in my upload where I was ranting, I was saying learning to learn one another, really, right? Intentionally learning to love one another. But learning one another is the reason why I keep reiterating learning one another, is because when you learn what your people like and dislike, then you can learn how to work together. A lot of our issues is because we don't know how to work together, and then we have trust issues. Right? And then there's just some people that's not gonna, you know, there's certain people that I would not want to bring along for the ride, because they are infiltrators, and they will lead you to, you know, the path of destruction with the enemy. They will sell you out to the enemy. They will feed you to the enemy, right? So I'm not saying everybody that look like me. It would be nice, you know, kind of sound good. But for those of us that are actually like-minded and serious, and not, you know, some clowns out here that's joking and playing about it. I'm not talking about people that like, you know, that like to have fun, part in balancing, you know, work life, business, and life, and having fun. I'm not talking about that, because there's a time and a place for that. I'm talking about people that are actually serious about business and know what I'm talking about, right? Not people that I have to, it's like pulling teeth and I have to explain myself. Like people that's really tapped in, that have common sense for real. Organizing and keeping it amongst ourselves and being able to communicate with the appropriate people, and not sharing certain important, sensitive information, right? Big facts. Not all of our skin folks are our kinfolk. And nothing disgusts me more than somebody that actually look like you and I, and they say that they come in the name of God or righteousness, and they have been infiltrated. They have been compromised. And then behind the scenes, what they do is they play in the hand of your enemy, and then they play the same game as your enemy. And then they'll turn around and say, they'll talk about the war that's going on, and they'll talk about all of these different things, but they never talk about what role that they play in that same war, whether that be psychological, mental, physical, whether it be biological, whether it be health wise, all of these different ways that we are being attacked. What do you think? What do y'all think? This thought just came to mind. What do y'all think about the Georgia Guidestones? Y'all think that it's because somebody said, you know, we don't want this energy over here no more? Or do you think it's because, you know, people already have the information, but they say, you know, we're done. We want to knock these down because we don't want more people to actually, you know, become awakened to what we're really doing here? Or is it because they have met a mark or something, some type of goal or whatever on those particular stones that said that certain things were going to take place? Excuse me, you guys. So, you know, as far as Israel go, I'm not surprised that, you know, they voted against the reparations that Ghana has proposed. Argentina, you know, the people that are neutral. I don't rock with anybody that's neutral about liberating a people, and especially black people, right? Because for you to say that you don't want to liberate black people is to say that you don't want to liberate me. And if you don't want to liberate me, then that means that you don't want to liberate my babies, and you don't want to liberate my people. I have a problem with that, you know? So, at the end of the day, you know, it's funny because me and some people I was talking to earlier were talking about the same thing. It's literally a time where you have to choose a side. You either on the right side of history or the wrong side of history. You either rocking with God and the divine, or you rocking with the damn devil. And it's just really as simple as that. I don't understand what some people don't understand about that. They make it seem like it's so hard. You either godly or you a devil. And I'm not talking about people that are warrior spirits who people want to demonize them and they want to equate them as being a devil. If you leave somebody alone that come in peace, then they will give you peace. But if you freaking mess with a big stepper who comes and bears light, and someone who comes and bring peace, and then you throw that rock and you hide your hand, and then they rise up and they say, come get some, don't call them a devil, because they came to defend themselves. Because some of us are absolutely stand-up individuals and have a backbone, and we will call you out on your bullshit. Period. So don't get mad when we do so. But if you are operated in a certain type of way and you think that you so big bad, even these people behind the screens, don't throw the rock and hide your hand. Stand on that. And when people are warriors for real, and when people freaking show you that you woke up the beast, or they willing to let you know what time it is, don't freaking equate it to demonic energy or demonic behavior. Some of us is just not to be played with. Some of us is just not to be toyed with. Now, a lot of us, especially those that look like me, we come in peace for real. We come in peace for real. But you rub me the wrong way, then, I mean, what do you expect? There's some people that's going to turn, they're going to turn the other cheek, and they're going to let you slap it. And then there's some people that's going to give you a 2-piece and a biscuit and tell you to come get some more because you playing. So stop playing with big steppers for real. If you want peace, give peace. And these sorry ass people, man, I tell you, that for them to blatantly continue to be disrespectful and to tell us that they don't care about us, you know, like, it's crazy to me. They're literally out of order. But what can we expect from them when we know who we're dealing with? These people are the devil for real. I don't expect much from a devil except for their demonic energy, because I don't expect the devil to give me anything that is of my likeness, anything of the divine or anything of God, because they don't have it to give. It's just kind of embarrassing sometimes, right? Because I actually am a natural born citizen of the United States and proud of it, because this is my ancestors' land. I said it. Yeah, I feel some type of way, you know? There's not a lot that really get me emotionally you know, what's the word that I want to use? There's not a lot that really gets me emotionally bothered like that, especially when you know there's just so many things to consider and factor in when it comes to humanity, and just on a basic level of lower levels of consciousness, right? Lower levels of intelligence. It should give you enough reason to give people passes and not to give them a two-piece and a biscuit. You know, we give people a lot of passes, grace, mercy, and compassion, because we know that they're very little minded, right? They're very small minded, very much so. And they're not even worth it. They're not. And then to understand that, you know, it ain't even about comparison, but if we're going to tell the truth, let's tell the truth. These people are not even on the same. They don't have a soul, and they're not of your likeness. If you are of God and you're godly. And I'm not trying to preach. I'm not trying to make this you know, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, like, it's just more of a reason that you just kind of just shrug it off. Like, yeah, I know what time it is with you. I see you. The type of individuals that look better going than they do coming. So, you know, congratulations to Black folks in advance. Congratulations to the indigenous folks of the planet. Congratulations to, you know, the people of the motherland, or of Al-Cubalon, aka Africa, in advance for the reparations that we will receive, right? Because I'm gonna go ahead and speak that into existence. I just feel like, you know, we can give to ourselves, and we can give more to ourselves like we always have, you know. I think that most of us, the best of us, is not really waiting for, we're not really waiting for the devil to come and save us. We're not waiting for them to really atone, because it's been so long. But for those that actually want to acknowledge, and they want to, you know, atone for their sins and things, well, you know, congratulations to us in advance. Congratulations to our ancestors in advance. You know, when you a strong divine being, you don't wait for somebody to come and give you an apology, or to recognize where they're wrong, where they can atone, so that they can change their behavior, and thus give you peace and to have peace. Sometimes you just have to stand on God business or divine business and be at peace within yourself, and then recognize the basura in them, meaning their trash, to take that trash out and leave it alone, right? Praise to Kemet. Ashe. Ashe, ashe. Yeah. Somebody said speak Turkish. I am a natural born American citizen. Yeah. So one of the other things that I was thinking about was how I laugh, because like the enemy is so trash, so basura, right? He think he's so slick. And what I mean by that is like tell me, rock with me and tell me if you guys feel the same way, right? Excuse me. It seems like the media, the leaders of the so-called free world, this country, which aren't real leaders, right? They're just warm bodies who are puppets, let's be honest. It seems as though they are trying so hard to instigate and to create issues everywhere. Excuse me. They're trying to start wars everywhere. And they know that, you know, them talking about how Ghana is trying to get reparations, and then for them to say that the U.S. and Israel and Argentina all voted against it. They know, like, they have to know that that's going to make people feel a certain type of way, right? Especially American people. You speak a little Spanish too, LOL. Poquito. Poquito. You know, I got my Latinos in my family. Yeah. So, yeah, it seems as though they're trying to there's like an antagonist. There's definitely an antagonist, and then there's you know, the provoking, trying to provoke anger, trying to get the country in an uproar, trying to create civil unrest. Why do I say these things? It's not just something that I'm pulling out of my imagination. Like, I feel like because we've seen this time, like time and time again before, how the media likes to do certain things where it's like these demons, these devils, they, you know, do certain things, and it's just like, yeah, we did that, so what you gonna do about it? Yeah, we don't care about y'all. We don't mess with y'all. We don't feel as though you know, slavery was evil, and we're not going to pay you for it. And thus, if they don't have to be held accountable, then what does that mean? Then they never have to change their ways, and this corporation is a slave ship. Tell me that I'm lying. If you rocking with me, then rock with me. Talk back to me. Let me know that I'm not literally talking like, I know damn well I ain't crazy. If you don't have to be held accountable for something, then you're not held accountable to change that type of way of life, that behavior or whatever. And then when you want to stay in a certain position of power, which are demonic ass system that was created, you can continue committing the atrocities that you're committing. You can continue your demonic ways of life and your behavior, and then you can continue to birth offspring that's going to do the same thing. So now we're at a point of checking their authenticity, not just those that are not natural indigenous people of the planet, but even some of the people that are indigenous to the planet, but they have sold out, or they are not as authentic, and they are corrupt, and they are infiltrated, so they become infiltrators, right? It's a cold game. It's a cold game. Yeah, what it is I'm offended and I'm annoyed. But it's not like I'm the type of person that will ask for anything from my enemy for real. Or it's not like I'm the type of person that's going to expect so much from them when you already know who your enemy is, you know, like, you don't want to disappoint yourself with having too many expectations from them, especially when you know that your enemy is a demon. I don't know. I'm on a literal rant today. Um, I think that some people need to go have several seats and they need to shut the hell up. I think that, you know, the power structure should be restructured. I think that when you become of a certain age and a certain corporation and a certain level of power where you become senile, where your decision making is not clear enough, and then you don't use chain of command, and then you create war, and you know, you begin to fight, and you know, you start a war, and uh you don't check in with your chain of command like this certain individual did. He started a war and he didn't even check with his men. He didn't even get in conversation with his people. He didn't even get in conversation with Congress, right? So that just lets you know where his head is, and his mental state. His mental state is unstable. He has a mindset of a dictatorship, and I'm going to do what I want to do, and you're not going to do anything about it. And your opinion doesn't matter. Your title doesn't matter. Your position doesn't matter, right? These are the individuals who people call their leaders, because they're definitely not my leaders. We don't serve or worship devils over here. We don't put devils on pedestals over here. So would it be wrong to say that Israel had played a major part in slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, and modern day slavery? Is that why they can't say that this is wrong? You know, a person can't admit to something that is wrong, and they can't see when something is wrong when they don't have it in their heart to feel as though it's wrong. They can't feel pain. They're psychopaths, sociopaths. They can't say that it's wrong because they are the descendants of the people who have done this. And once again, you have to be careful because they have replicated themselves and they have reproduced themselves, and their offspring have a lot of that DNA in their ways, right? That's a problem. And if people don't think that that's a problem, then they might want to go back to sleep, wake up again, and then try it again. Because this is the problem that we're dealing with in society, and not in just in America, but all of these other countries who are very neutral about it, right? The world is a very racist place because there's a lot of people that are under a hypnosis, a brainwashing, and a programming, and it's really to be against the African or the Black indigenous peoples of the planet, right? Let's be honest. But when you don't have a soul and you don't have love within you, no, you can't see that what they did during slave times was absolutely atrocious, and that it was heinous, and that it was wrong. These people fed African babies to alligators. These people wore Black people's skin as jewelry, wore their teeth as jewelry, and wore their skin for clothing. These people looked at Black folks as a delicacy, right? They had our people it as a part of a dish and a part of a food and their delicatessen. So we're going to talk about truth, right? Everybody swear they speaking truth, and let's talk about truth, right? And let's expose who these devils are, because they want to expose everybody and they want to corrupt everybody. They want everybody to have their same mindset, and you know, if we're going to talk about truth, then I think that we should talk about real truth, even the nasty, dirty, ugly truth. Cool Joe wants some attention. I don't even know if you're the type that could really ride with me. So, you know, as for me and those that I love, and I'm going to really speak for myself, I think that I speak for those that I love and those that resonate with me. There's a time for and a place for, you know, joking and all of that. But no, it's just too much joking going on sometimes, you know. It's a lot of joking going on at the wrong time is my point. I want to know, you know, people's thoughts before I get off of here. I just wanted to know people's thoughts about what people are reporting that, you know, Ghana proposed. They made this proposal about getting reparations for the transatlantic slave trade, as a lot of us are aware. And, you know, it kind of caught me off guard, and it was highly offensive to me to know that the U.S. Okay, that was kind of funny. It was, you know, to know that the U.S., Argentina, and Israel voted against it. People are legit disgusting, and they don't mind letting you know, like, hey, yeah, we're demons and we don't care. It's like, yeah, y'all are some filthy demons, and then on top of that, you know, it's out of my level of expertise and my pay grade to talk about, you know, the military and what they do and how they, you know, fighting in wars and things. But at the same time, when you know that, you know, there are babies who are suffering. I know the cool Joe guy. Yeah. When you know that babies are suffering and things, I'm like, you know that they have to be a special kind of demonic to not care that there are women and children, but more specifically, babies who are suffering. You know what I mean? What does that say about them? Like, I'm not going to say I know that there are some people who are just not of my likeness. They're not human. They don't have like the genuineness of a human. They don't feel pain. If they don't feel pain, then they can't see when someone else does. Right? And yeah, it is a little bit embarrassing to say, yeah, you're from, I'm from, you know, the United States of America. And these same people, I know they just, the world is just shaking their head like, and you call these people y'all leaders. They don't give a damn about y'all. Still showing and teaching black people, oh, yeah, we don't care about y'all, and you don't really mean anything to us. Like, why don't y'all stop copying us and give credit where credit is due? Meaning, give us the credit saying that we built everything that they're looking at. This whole planet. Don't let me get the preaching about it. Oh my God. Ooh wee. The audacity. I think that's what it is. I think that's a good word to end with. It's the audacity for me. You know? The blatant disrespect and the carelessness. Further creating division and further telling the world and, you know, their offspring and their children that, yeah, these atrocious things happen, but there's nothing wrong with that. Is that the way of the world? Yeah, I guess so, to them and they demonic ass kids, huh? Because godly people admit where they're wrong, and then they try to, you know, atone for that, and they try to create peace where they're wrong. So that's the whole point of the message. When people can't admit where they're wrong, that's a problem for me. And like I said, we're a very resilient people, so we gonna keep it pushing no matter what. That's what we do. And we gonna keep on replicating ourselves, and we don't die, we multiply. And that makes the enemy mad. It make him sick to his stomach, don't it? Oh, so much about the African and so much about the black indigenous people of the planet. Oh, it just get under his skin, make them hot as fish grease. Everything down to our DNA. Make that bastard big mad. They hate you. You know, it's like they say they hate you because they ain't you. Was literally castrating the African male, right? Running them down like cattle, tying his arms, his hands to some legs of horses in one direction, and then tying his legs to the legs of another horse while they're pointed in opposite direction, and beating the horses until they both run in different directions until until the black man or the black slave split apart, burn them on a tree so everybody can see, and they continue to do the same thing till this day. Modern day slavery, commit atrocious crimes and do heinous things to try to inflict fear and to fearmonger and inflict fear so that everybody can be fearful. And then when everybody is fearful, they'll all stand in line like complacent, compliant soldiers, or should I say slaves? Because some people don't even exactly. Because some people, they don't even have the capacity. They don't have the bravery within them, right? They don't even have the boldness or the backbone to stand on anything. But when somebody have a heart like mine, they'll say, ain't nobody ever said this to me, but they just say that people with a certain type of energy, they want to call us mad, they want to call us angry, they want to call us everything except for a child of God. And how dare you disrespect me when we accidentally created you? So excuse me for going on a rant. I don't do this man, usually I don't do this, but go ahead and break them off with a little previews of the remix. No, I'm just joking. Man, sometimes you gotta laugh. They say sometimes you gotta laugh. They say sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying. Or sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from, harboring whatever that heaviness is, right? And I know how to move it. I'm a very happy person, and yeah, it's all high vibes over here, but sometimes, like, you gotta, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes the enemy just really need to be called out. sometimes we need to address some things, because some people are just too dastard in their nature and they're too cowardly to say what needs to be said. And we don't have to be disrespectful about it. We don't have to be nasty about it. But I think that telling the truth, being a truth seeker and speaking truth, enlightening one, right? Speaking truth is absolutely necessary, especially in these times. Yeah, definitely. You got to have some sense of humor. Oh yeah, absolutely, because it's a very dark time right now, and I'm not saying like, oh, this is going to be the dark ages, or it's going to be dark for a very long time. I don't think so. I hope not, as far as this war stuff going on, especially because there are babies that are suffering. But it is a very dark time. It is a very heavy time. And just to think that, for one to not have to be accountable for where they're wrong is to say that I get to continue to keep up this lifestyle or this behavior. And I'm the type of individual that it's just going to be a no for me. It's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. And then here come the divine man and woman, the indigenous man and woman of the planet, more specifically the black man and woman, right? We're a very forgiving people. We're too forgiving. We're too compassionate. We're too loving. We're too graceful. We're too merciful, right? We're too empathetic. Why do we know that? Because we know what we're capable of, but we continue to, just let it slide. And then a lot of it is fear, the fear mongering, and the people that are taking that fear. Why? Why do our people just take it, but so quick to hurt one another? I'm not talking about you defending yourself, because divine justice is a thing, and we all have the right to defend ourselves. I don't care on what level. Don't play with me in the physical. Don't play with me spiritually. Don't play with me energetically, right? But this is what people do on a small level, all the way, on a large level, of these so-called fake ass leaders of this world, all the way down to those on the freaking internet, you know, and then those individuals who can't even think for themselves, those who's being played by an enemy, those who play in the hand of the enemy, thus creating more division and divisiveness, because they don't have a backbone, because they're insecure, because they're immature, because they don't have no self-confidence, they don't have no guidance, right? Like, it's a weird time that we living in, and quite frankly, I'm offended by devils. I appreciate it. I appreciate that so much. The Holy Trinity, man, woman, and child, the Kemetic teaching. Ashe. Big facts. And I appreciate you, you dropping those gems in the video too, because I'm on that vibe too. Like, I'm on that energy too. And I love it. Like, I eat that up when I see people that, I resonate with, that's on the same, I guess, like, frequency or mindset as myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it. I just really wanted to get it off my chest. I'm offended by people trying to bully black people, and then when we stand up for ourselves, they try to demonize them. It's like you try to play a psychological game, and you try to play whatever game, a physical game, or games in the media or whatever, to try to create this illusion and keep up an illusion of some type of superiority or some type of power, for real. There's a lot of power in saying no. And when we see that this enemy is continuing to try to keep up this illusion of some type of importance, because they're not important, right? They try to keep up some type of illusion of some type of power or superiority. When people accept that and they say yes, then they thus come into agreement with this dastard, bastard, filthy, nasty, trifling enemy, instead of just saying, no, I'm not going to continue to accept that, even if it means that you know, I am like some of our ancestors essentially, right? Because what it is people are so fearful that they will lay down and their babies will suffer because of the fear that the enemy inflicts on them. So, you know, it comes to a point where in this time where we have to choose, right, godliness or demonic, like if it comes a time where it seems like, you know, everything is on the line, even if it means your life, are you going to feed into the hand of the enemy and let the fear that the enemy wants to inflict in you to overcome you, thus you take upon their ways, or to give into whatever it is that they have going on? Or are you going to say, hell no, the devil is a lie, and I'm going to stand over here and stand on this, and what I know is right, what is truth, and what is godly? And that's not me preaching or trying to make it sound like, you know, I'm super spiritual or I'm religious. I'm just saying this is a particular time that we're in. People are being swindled. They're being they to me it's just like they just being tricked. They being tricked out and they don't mind. Like, how you being handled and you don't care? How do you sit back and say it's okay that these people blatantly don't care about us, that the power structure, these people in power can blatantly say that we don't care about your life, that you don't matter, we do not want to atone for, we don't want to give repercussions, and then everybody can look at that and say, oh, because we need a leader, and that's what our leader said is okay, so we're going to follow that as well. This is the type of country that we live in. This is the type of country that we live in. So this is the reason why we have this certain type of climate and atmosphere in not only our country, but then in the world. These people are following these trash ass, sorry ass leaders for real. And, you know, I said, when this individual was reelected back in office and in the Oval Office, I said, you know, don't let this certain individual get y'all ass whooped, because we know how it was from the first term. He came and he became a antagonist, and he showed people his true nature and how he truly felt about certain people. And he was very racist, and he was such a bigot and very divisive. And then what happened? All of these weirdos came out of the woodworks and they grew some nuts, right? And then what did they do? They started to act like they were so big and bad. They started to act like, you know, like they could act a certain way towards a certain people, and that they wasn't going to get punched in the mouth. You know, so I said, you know, here we go again, round 2, right? I wonder what he got up his sleeve now, because the devil is a crafty piece of shit, and he always up to something, you know? So, you know, me being the woman that I am, I say, you know, don't let your leader get your ass whooped. Yeah, that's how I feel for real. And then, of course, the leader, these people, you know, like I said, I'm gonna continue to say they produce offspring that's just like them. Cowards, dastard in nature. Anyway, I'm ranting. I probably better slow down before I say something. I've actually said a lot, actually. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for letting me get on here and rant to you, to you know, get this off of my chest. We're not surprised, but I guess this energy is, you know, not me being surprised. It's just me saying like, hey, y'all see this? Like, here this enemy go again. But, you know, the audacity, it's gonna be the audacity for me. It's wild. It's crazy. You can't expect nothing more from a demon who doesn't have the ways of God. Yeah. You can't accept godly ways from a demon. They can't see the world the way we see it. They can't think the way that we think, because they don't think like us. They can't feel the way that we feel as we feel and like us. They don't feel pain. They don't feel as deeply as we do, and in return is the reason why we respond the way that we respond and express ourselves the way that we express ourselves. So in my mind, I'm saying I can't expect godliness from a demon. How can I expect a demon to feel the pain that me and my, generations after me may feel, or people that look like me, and that resonate with me? How can I expect a demon to feel what we feel when we're not of the same likeness? Literally, we have to check people's authenticity in this time, because we're not the same. And it might sound sci-fi and it might sound crazy to say, for real, but we're living in a day and time where people's authenticity has to be checked. The authenticity of who they are. These people, we're all not alike. They try to say that, and they kept saying that, and they keep saying it, and it's just like, it's just a lie at this point. It's a fallacy. We're all not the same. Talking about how these folks is bird brains. But anyway, I can't believe I just smacked. Man. Then there'll be demons that come across this video and they'll be like, so who cares how you feel? They'll have something to say, or they want to play tit for tat, or they want to nitpick. But they only hard on screens. They only bad and slick and all of that little weird ass clown, weirdo energy on screens and on TVs and behind devices. And then try to play with people because they come in peace. And when you check that, now you a demon. Now you low vibrational. They'll say you everything except for a child of God. How dare you? How dare you blatantly disrespect me when I created you? Put some respect on my name. Definitely reinforce the truth and continue to enlighten the babies. And then figure out ways to get them out of these institutions for real. A lot of us say stuff and we help one another where we can to create resources and to put our money where our mouth is, and to put actions behind our words, but to also remember to give each other empathy and compassion for those that can't do certain things, because we all are still just trying, We're all trying, and we have good ideas. Some people don't put no action behind their ideas, but then, giving empathy and compassion to those who really are trying, like really being patient with them, because some people are just doing the best with what they have. Oh, Lord. That's cute to see birds building a nest. All right. I would love to stay on here, but I think, you know what? Before I end this, I have to say this, because I don't do this a lot. Before I end this, I have to say this. I must, right? I don't believe in people dumping themselves, like dumping their energy or projecting onto other people, right? I don't believe in that. But I believe that some of us have the people that we can go to and we can vent to, or we can, get our ish off, right? To certain people. So I don't necessarily try to use my platforms or my social media pages or whatever to give such an energy. So I only apologize if I offended somebody in my energy, but this is the other side of BonaFideQueenBri, right? There's two sides, and I just want to say that I appreciate whoever comes across this message or this video, and I appreciate you for sticking with me, for receiving the message, you know what I mean? And just really letting me express myself and to get that off, because You know, and I'm gonna say, you know, in my day-to-day life, I don't, you know, condone people just, you know, randomly just consistently dumping whatever they have onto other people. I don't think that's fair. Now, if it's someone who don't mind that, like a therapist or a friend or a family member, whatever, we should all have those people we can go to. I'm sure we do. Hopefully everybody is blessed with those people that you can go to and, you know, talk about certain things and to let certain things off. um, but I just have to say that, you know. Tattoo Queen Bree. I'll see you this Sunday. Ashe. And thanks again, okay? You be blessed. Be well.